And we're live. Brilliant. Gaz, Daniel Gavin, I was about to say thanks for coming out to me here, but you didn't come to me. I came to you. So this is the first Off the Lead podcast that I've kind of toured with as such. And I have to give you full credit for the name.
Indeed.
On the lead and on the road.
That's
Off the lead and on the road. I got the name of my own show fucking mixed up. Great start. But yeah, we were talking just before this started. A mutual friend of ours, Manus O'Donnell, sent us on a screenshot of, was it John Kavanagh's?
I think it's his Instagram account.
Yeah, John Kavanagh's Instagram account. So John Kavanagh being Conor Mc Gregor's coach and the top man of SBG Ireland.
And obviously big kind of advocate for Movember as well. So I think it's all part of that.
Yeah, he's their spokesman or whatever the term is. But he's giving beginners classes free throughout the country to everyone essentially.
Yeah, I think anyone who's kind of willing can come down, free classes, just right up until the end of November. I think it's brilliant. And I think they kind of, obviously it is to raise sort of funds for November. So there's like a donation kind of thing as well to throw in, I suppose, while you're there. But definitely thinking of getting down. Like Manus sent it on just last night. So I fell in love with it when myself and yourself did it. It's going back a couple of years now since I last, I suppose, kind of was rolling, that sort of stuff. Massive opportunity just to get down, experience it again, and get involved.
And what would it, why are you keen to go back, or why, if you loved it so much, why didn't you keep doing it? I think
and that's the question. I think I sort of I played a lot of football and stuff. So a friend of ours began kind of managing football club just back in Navan, or just outside of Navan, I suppose. So I kind of got back involved in that, and sort of we moved away from the club that we were going for as well in around the same time, I guess. So yeah, I just kind of started playing football, I guess, and that's what the only time I was doing it. I didn't really get, the mistake was just not getting back into another club when I left, Swords Fight Club. Playing football was always a passion of mine, but just nothing. I wouldn't say nothing but in particular. Jiu-Jitsu, I just completely fell in love with that. I just absolutely adored the thing. It was brilliant. Great for fitness, but just, I think it's described as obviously human chess as well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's so true. There's a lot of thinking involved, that kind of stuff. But for me, it was just a massive way to kind of get back into kind of fitness, because I think it was just one of the only times I'd really been outside of football. I hadn't been playing with a club, and I was looking for something not only for fitness, but just to kind of get stuck into as well. So that just ticked all the boxes.
And for anybody that's, I suppose, isn't familiar with Jiu-Jitsu, can you tell them, there's plenty of people listening here that are like yourself, have, played soccer more or less all their lives, either in school or just a kick around at the local park or the AstroTurf pitches or whatever. Most people, I think, are kind of familiar with that. But what's different about Jiu-Jitsu, do you think? Or what was different about it for you, say?
I suppose I did a little bit of kind of judo when I was very, very young, I suppose. But that was the only little kind of bit of an introduction to kind of mixed martial arts in general. And obviously just through watching it, the likes of the UFC, again, yourself, I'd probably have to thank for that. 'Cause I wouldn't have really kind of, well, actually, maybe a little bit earlier, kind of some of the Pride stuff. Years ago would have maybe kind of caught a few videos and stuff of that. But yeah, it was just really watching it, and mixed martial arts, not everyone's cup of tea, I guess, but especially kind of the setting it's in, an octagon, a cage, as it's kind of known as well, and it wouldn't be everyone's. But if you do look at it and you're kind of interested in it, for me, that particular discipline was the one that I really loved watching. Like a fighter will say, with that skill set, was always one that I really loved kind of watching as well. So it's just different, I guess, than a lot of it. It's I suppose it's almost like defensive, like self-defense, more so than an actual kind of attacking kind of thing as well. So you can use it just in so many ways. It's just brilliant. And the actual discipline of it too, I think, is the massive ones. Even Patter, his little one, is getting into it now.
Yeah,
so
blind. What age is she?
She's 5, 6. Is she 6? I think she's 6.
They're
6 years of age, and telling me stuff that I was up there a couple of weeks back, and just the little different holes and stuff they were showing me, and I'm just delighted to see it. It's brilliant. So good. Because there's that many, this day and age, you've got that many different devices and stuff with kids with their heads stuck in. getting kids involved in that, I think is brilliant. Like, but it's just for everyone. But and the thing is as well, like you're starting them off that age. I'm like mid-30s, but there's lads that are practicing jiu-jitsu and they're 50, 60 years of age still doing it, and it's just a massive thing for just yourself to get out and about and actually keep you focused on something. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think another really cool selling point of jiu-jitsu generally is you can spar full tilt without getting damage. Hit as such.
Yeah.
So again, for the people listening that are the kind of the uninitiated, don't know what the hell we're talking about jiu-jitsu, the way you would win a jiu-jitsu match, say, is you would force your opponent to what's called tap out, which is essentially give up, and you do that by there's 101 different ways you can achieve that, but primarily it's through what would be called either a blood choke, which would be closing off arteries, say, to reduce blood flow to the brain, which might sound very kind of intense and probably not what I should have led with, but the idea being that your opponent gets every opportunity to, again, it's called tap out, which is basically say no, stop, and then you release them and you've won that round or that fight or whatever you want to call it. But the downside obviously of striking is once you get to a competitive level and you start sparring, you're going to get punched and kicked a lot.
In the face.
Yeah, in the face, like, repeatedly.
That's not ideal, I suppose, for most people with kind of jobs that they would do, like if they have meetings, we'll say, on a Monday morning and they're fighting, like, so, or even just training, because you do get knocks and that sort of stuff, even with light sparring. Just if you're caught a particular way, you could get just a clip in the eye and a bit of a shiner would appear, like, and it's not always the best for certain jobs. But I guess you say that as well, but like I've been in jiu-jitsu as well, you can get, I suppose, nasty blows. Like someone could be moving one way and a knee would just find your face as well. So but obviously predominantly it's not supposed to happen, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't think you're going to suffer any injury that you wouldn't suffer playing, say, soccer or anything else really that is any level of what's the word? Any level
contact.
Of contact. Like, there we go. Yeah, absolutely. But you were saying there about the kind of the age, and Patter, our mutual friend, whose 6-year-old daughter has just started jiu-jitsu, he started it himself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And a friend of his got him into it, and a friend of his is slightly older. I think his friend is about 40, maybe. And what he said to Patter, I thought was just pure brilliant. He said, "Patter, you're going to be 50 someday. Why not be 50 with a black belt?" And I think there's something really cool about that. Like, I think a lot of people see martial arts as a young man's game, and people don't typically start playing soccer when they're in their mid-30s or later. But there's absolutely no barriers to entry with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
it's just something that anyone can take up at any time.
Just join a gym, join a class that's doing it. Like, and the beginner stuff as well is brilliant too. Like, because you're going through drills. It's obviously drills that you'll practice over and again. Coach is going to go through it step by step, and he walks you through it, and then you kind of bring it out onto the floor as well. So there's nothing too kind of difficult. Well, like obviously, the different levels you go up, it's going to get more and more complicated or more harder to kind of pull off, I guess. But it's really easy stuff from the outset. Like, I suppose it depends on every person, but I took to it pretty quickly, I guess, just to get the very basics kind of down. Like, but when you kind of pull off a submission move or an armbar or something like that, it's a great feeling. It's almost like I put it to not quite scoring a goal in football. Like, so I would have played kind of very competitive football all my life, I suppose, as far as I can remember back, and I used to kind of score. I was up front, I guess, and scoring goals. But another one that you would have in football would be a nutmeg, so when you kind of put it through their legs or whatever like that, and that's what I kind of put that through. So if you've been drilling, we'll say, an armbar or a move to get to an armbar or a certain submission, and you finally get it in when you're rolling or when you're practicing with someone, it's like, yes, finally got it, I'm delighted. And it's just like kind of, I wouldn't say like I kind of with a nutmeg you're sort of embarrassing someone. It's not really quite like that, but it's just great to see it come off when you've been trying it for a while, I suppose, beforehand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I suppose another thing is the steep progression at the start. So the difference,
massive learning curve, and the difference between somebody who's been practicing, will say 3 months, and we'll say a year and 3 months, is just ridiculous. Or even kind of double that time, like 6 months and 3 months. Just the difference or the gulf in what they know and what you know is ridiculous. And it's just, it can be tough. It is definitely tough from the outset. Like you're thrown straight into the deep end. not knowing a whole pile and just getting, I think you use the term as well, like just tap like a drum. It's horrendous. But yeah, like it's all part of kind of, oh look, I'm not going to do that next time around, or you learn from it so much, and you can change your little bits and pieces here and there just to make sure it doesn't happen second time around. Like,
there's typically a really good camaraderie, I think, between members of jiu-jitsu clubs.
Yeah, that's come up a lot. I think with a lot of coaches, it's almost like a family kind of feel to a lot of clubs.
Yeah, I think what's at the root of that is in soccer, say, especially if you're a striker, you know, it's your objective to score goals.
Yeah.
So if you can score a goal without passing to someone, score the fucking goal. Like, I mean, that's the name of the game is scoring goals.
Exactly,
but in jiu-jitsu, it's very different. And that old saying, what is it? The rising tide lifts, or was it the rising tide lifts all boats?
Yeah.
There's a big element in that in jiu-jitsu. So if I, as an experienced jiu-jitsu practitioner, start rolling with a beginner, say, and if I just tap him and tap him and tap him and tap him, I'm not learning anything, and he's not learning anything. So it's in my benefit and everybody else's benefit to take beginners and get them as good as possible, as quick as possible.
Yeah, exactly, because it helps you as well as them. Like, so it's not just a case of, as you mentioned, just tapping continuously. So just develops both your game as well. Like, so, and it really does get you involved in it too. If you're helping somebody out and kind of like this is even in the midst of it. So if you're in on the mat and you're actually trying to kind of get somebody into a submission, you can just stop in the middle of it and say, listen, that's not right. You need to do this, do it that way. And you've seen that just countless amounts of times in gyms, and it's great for development all over.
The lack of gear is another thing as well.
What do you mean?
Like a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and I don't think you need a cup. I'd advise it.
Oh hell yeah! I definitely found that out fairly quickly. That a cup, like actually, Patter was saying that he doesn't have one. I was there. Okay, you'll find out. You'll find out. It's not a nice experience. They are awkward, I guess, but yeah, you're right. Just pair of shorts, t-shirt, good to go.
And even the cup is what, you probably pick one up for a $5 or something,
like that. Yeah, in any kind of sports shop or whatever, you get them. But yeah, it's so handy. And even like myself and yourself, when we weren't kind of at a gym or whatever, like you picked up the mats, like, so yeah. What, 9 was it?
9 mats,
yeah, and just launch them down anywhere outside in a summer's day, stick them out on the ground or whatever inside the house, fire them down, and away you go.
Yeah,
good to go. Like, you just obviously you can't quite do that with every other aspect of, like, even like just gym equipment, like for fitness or that sort of stuff. Like, you're not always going to have all of that sort of stuff to hand straight away, and it's just so simple: shorts, t-shirt, mats.
Yeah, away with you.
Yeah.
Keeping on the MMA jiu-jitsu team, what you make of McGregor's behaviour over the last couple of days? Recent antics.
I think he needs to get back fighting. He needs to get into a fight camp quick, because he's just got so much money, so much time, and why not? Like, you can't, like, obviously I don't condone that kind of behaviour. It's not a good example by any means, but I think the chap just needs to knuckle down to get back in fighting. I think that's what everyone likes kind of about him. Obviously, love watching him fight. He's an incredible athlete, but it's just really everyone wants to see him fighting again, I think, and he's just got too much time in his hands just to do whatever. He's like living the play-by life at the minute, like, just. But definitely, I need to get him signed up for a fight, because in actual fact, the UFC, I think itself, is missing him massively, because there's not that same draw. Like, I don't know how much you watch it these days, but I definitely stopped watching it as much, we'll say, or as regularly, or even staying up, which I would have done, and we would have done many times.
Yeah, for years.
Live events or whatever time going on till 5-6 in the morning. I just simply don't do that anymore, unless it's McGregor. You're just not going to miss it. Like, even the most recent fight was George St. Pierre made a return, like one of the best UFC, or mixed martial artists in the game, made his return, and even that, like, wasn't spectacular by any means. I think it's just missing McGregor. Like, I think he needs to get a fight. I think Ferguson, is that maybe the one that people are.
Well, who do you want? That's what I was going to ask.
I don't know. Like, I think he has to get back into the UFC as opposed to any other venture that he's taken on outside, like in boxing or whatever. Remember, he was saying he was thinking of some hybrid kind of event.
I missed that.
Oh, he was, yeah. Well, as one of the I think it was the build up to the Mayweather fight, and he was just at one of the pressers, and he was saying that I can do whatever I want, like the usual typical kind of in your face sort of stuff. But he was there. I might even make up my own kind of hybrid sport between mixed martial arts and boxing, like, and but yeah, I don't know. I think that was probably just, you know, yourself. He could be saying anything. It could be something that's in the pipeline, but for me, I want him back in the UFC, and the likes of maybe Ferguson, Nurmagomedov is another one that's been touted around. Then
any interest in Diaz trilogy?
Yeah, like that's the money fight, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the one that would definitely get the biggest draw. I think there is actually just gonna get it down at a better weight. I think so.
Can he fight lightweight?
Who Diaz?
Diaz,
yeah, I think so. I think he has done in the past. So get it at lightweight. That would
for the belt.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be very, very hard on a lot of other lads in the lightweight division, though.
Fuck them.
I know, and that's it. Like, and it's going to be the one that would draw the biggest purse for definite and the most interest, I think. But the better fighters out there, I think, are Ferguson and Nurmagomedov. Like, I think Nurmagomedov will be a tough fight as well. He's just a beast when he gets his weight cut right. But yeah, the Diaz one is brilliant, like, because there's no love lost between the two lads either. It was class. Like, that was one of my favourite fights, the couple, or certainly the second one as well. But and you have to give it to McGregor as well, because not many people would come back from that loss, because he's on such a good run.
Yeah,
obviously took a gamble and kind of going for it. Short notice, obviously, but the way he kind of came back and actually got a complete turnaround on it was just immense. Like, took it at the same weight because he was there. No, I'm doing it the same way. I'm making sure I can go back and I can win this the same way it was before, and that was incredible. Like, you got to give him credit for that. Like, serious balls to just take it on at the same way, whereas they would have had time, obviously, to get down to maybe the lightweight weight itself. So incredible, really, really cool. Yeah,
no excuses.
No, exactly.
Same weight, same conditions, just more time to prepare. Say,
yeah, and it's John Kavanagh's philosophy then as well. Like, so I'm sure you probably read his book, the Win or Learn, as well. Yes. So it's like they obviously took the fight at short notice. Maybe there was a few things that didn't quite go right, we'll say, in the camp for the first Diaz fight as well. So they tweaked it. Obviously, kind of took in different nutrition and ways of training and that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, they did it kind of perfectly. It's a tough fight as well. Like, it was 5 rounds, wasn't it? Went the distance, and he just kind of got the unanimous decision. So that was the thing that caught him in the first one, was his conditioning. Like, so he gassed out, like, we'll say, halfway through or whatever it was. But
you could argue that's what did him against Mayweather as well.
True.
Now, listen, I'm not going to say that McGregor's a better boxer, but I am going to say that the main reason that it didn't go the distance was his gas tank.
Exactly. Now you said it. Well, that was new territory for him. Like, so he was never going to. He's nothing to gauge from it as well. Like, so obviously shorter rounds, different kind of camp, I'd imagine, as well. But yeah, you're right. Obviously not quite in the same bracket as Mayweather, technically, I suppose. But yeah, you could just see it. He was kind of gassing sort of after maybe 3 rounds. He was starting to take kind of deep breaths, I guess.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. But no, I like it's. You have to take your hat off to him as well. Like, just coming from, what is it, 4 or 5 years span, where he's gone from virtually nothing to just being able to do whatever the fuck he likes.
Well, is he the biggest sports star?
I think
in
so.
The world,
well,
full stop.
Yeah, probably. I'd say close to it. He's definitely, like, people, or every person around the world probably has heard of him, which you can't say that for every single sport or every kind of athlete that would be up in that same sort of category, I would say. So he's definitely up there.
Like, who'd be in the running, say? Like
football stars, maybe Ronaldo, Messi, that kind of thing.
Because the other American ones, like the likes of the basketball, the baseball,
NFL, that sort of thing,
the NFL, all that, that's just in America.
That's it. Like, that's what I mean. So,
like, I couldn't name you any basketball player.
Yeah, I probably could. Like, I wouldn't have a huge interest in a lot of the American sports. It kind of coming and going every now and again, watching like the Super Bowl, that sort of stuff. So I would know kind of a few heads and watch the odd bit here and there. But you're right, though. That's pretty much in America only, and it doesn't go outside of that for the most part, I guess. Like, but yeah, it's definitely not the other way around for McGregor. Like, he's known everywhere, which is madness. After 4 or 5 years, literally kind of having a trade, drawing the dole, just a little kid from Crumlin, like, or wherever he's from. Is Crumlin? He's from, I think.
Fuck, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I think it might be Crumlin, but it's mad just the way, and now he just dictates exactly what he wants to do when he wants to do
How he wants to do it.
nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Like, when you put it like that, it's madness. It's mind blowing stuff, and just incredible. Like, and it's all down to him, really. Like, I know he has obviously his team and his coaches and that sort of stuff, but it's him that's driving it. Like,
Yeah,
he's working hard and he's getting things done. Like,
I love him.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And I don't condone his recent behaviour.
No, not at all.
I didn't hear what's been called the homophobic remark. I didn't quite catch what he said. But
recently, or
yeah, I think it was only recently, like within the last week or so.
Oh,
did you hear
no,
that?
Didn't hear that myself.
I think was Artem Lobov fighting up in Belfast? Was it after his fight? I don't know. Listen, he went up to one of his teammates who was after either winning or
I think it
losing.
was Ward.
I don't know.
He's a training partner. Something Ward is the surname.
Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward is right. Yeah.
And I don't know if he was referring to him or his opponent as I think he might call him a faggot or something like that.
Sorry. No, I thought you were talking about when he
when he jumped in the ring was against Charlie Ward.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who the other fighter was, but listen, he apologised for whatever he said on the late there recently. So there was an obvious admission of guilt there.
Yeah.
But and again, I don't mean to condone those two recent things, him jumping into the cage and whatever else. But overall, generally, I think he's fantastic. If for no other reason that he's shown me and he's shown everyone else what can be achieved.
Yeah,
you don't need to have a multi-millionaire dad, or you don't need your best friend to be the director of or the head of a studio, or that kind of way. You can, if you devote your attention enough to one thing and you love doing it and you do it day in day out, and I hate the term believe, but if you think that you can do great things, then the only thing stopping you is you, basically.
That's it, I suppose. Yeah.
And like with my business, it's growing high value plants under lights and artificial conditions. It's in no small part thanks to McGregor and John Kavanagh that I actually ended up doing that. Because
really? Why so?
Because I saw what they did.
I suppose the
idea that the fucking audacity of it,
the
cheek of it, the gall of these cunts to go and to do great things.
Yeah.
And there's an element of, I suppose, Irish society that I suppose it's back to the begrudgery, maybe.
I know, yeah.
But how much is the begrudgery is in my head and in your head, and not it is in
the
everybody's
general
head,
consensus,
but it's
like across the board.
Yeah, like I think begrudgery. There's no one's ever told me that I shouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
I
don't know why it should be there. Like, why would you have that? Like, that's my attitude to it. Like, if someone is going out and doing this kind of stuff, more power to them. Like, absolutely fair play to you. Like, I wish I could fucking get there myself in some aspects or whatever. But there's nothing stopping you, like you said. Like, it's on you. But I don't understand why people would have that attitude towards somebody else who's actually making it. Like, in fairness to McGregor, like, he's not everybody's cup of tea. He does rub a lot of people up the wrong way, but as an athlete and what he's doing in the actual sporting world, it's just incredible, and you can't take that away from him. Like, so by all means, you can say, he's a prick, I fucking don't like him at all, whatever. That's fair enough. Don't watch him.
Yeah,
it's your choice at the end of the day. Don't kind of buy into it. And that's the kind of thing that boils down to a lot of stuff. It's your choice. You have the power to let what comes into your world. Like, you know what I mean? You stop it. You don't have to get on social media sites or watch YouTube videos of him. It's your choice at the end of the day. Like, just steer clear of it if he's not your cup of tea, or if that's not your cup of tea. But I don't know. It is something that definitely is there, the begrudgery, but I really wish it wasn't. Like, why would you try and stop someone from achieving greatness, I guess?
But I'm wondering though, is the begrudgery, is it ourselves that imposes the begrudgery on ourselves? Because like I thought twice about starting this podcast, and I thought twice about starting the business, and a big part of my aversion to just doing it was,
what are people going
what
to
would
think?
Other people
maybe?
think?
Right.
Yeah. What will other people think? What if I
am I
fail?
coming across as a fucking like being kind of too maybe in your face about it, or that
too big for me boots, or who does he think he is? But again, I'm putting those thoughts in other people's heads, if that makes sense.
If you're portraying it, if you're sort of portraying it yourself.
Yeah, I'm inventing it. So am I the problem?
I don't know. It's an interesting question, I guess. Yeah, but that's the way. That's the way we are, though. Sometimes, I suppose not every person is, but you just sometimes get those thoughts into your head, and it's just getting over yourself. Just saying, "Fuck that!" Like at the end of the day, if I can put them aside, I can definitely do it. Like I can put my mind to it, and I'll definitely be able to achieve it. So, but yeah, I think I do know. I know where you're coming from with it. It's like, oh, what if I stick this up here, and like what's some, like if I get a load of bad comments about it, or if someone are giving me abuse. At the end of the day, like fuck them.
Oh yeah, no,
get it done, like, get it done, and then deal with whatever comes afterwards. Like, and sure, who gives a bollocks if there's some people that think you're kind of too big for your boots? Fuck that. If it gets you to the bot or to the goal that you're looking to achieve, more power to you. Again, I say, but it's definitely there. It's definitely rooted in there somewhere. I think you see it from people, but I understand what you mean coming from your own. Like, if you're emanating that kind of thought, then certainly I can see it bouncing off somebody else, but it's just trying to find a way around it.
Yeah, I think another cool thing about the likes of McGregor and even Kavanagh and anyone who's done something with their lives, I suppose, they're not short on people who hate them.
Yeah,
so
definitely,
if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to have a load of people hate you, because that's kind of coming.
I can't quite remember who it was now, but I've seen it somewhere. And somebody said, "Need new haters. The old ones are starting to like me," or something like that. It's brilliant. So it's just like turning people's opinions on you. But like, you're dead right. You're going to get people. You'll always get people that will have something to say about it. But again, it's kind of. It's a good thing. Like, so I think, have you heard your man, is it Paul Stamets?
Yes, the mycologist.
That was incredible. I think that's one of my favourite Joe Rogan ones I've heard. But I think he said he was trying to get something patented. It's going to slip my. I don't know if it was one of the mushrooms. I think it was that he was working on and trying to synthesize it into maybe a.
Something to help the bees, was it?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that. It was definitely that one. It was one of the things he's got. By the sounds of it, he's got just about 1 million patents for loads of different shit, which is and some crazy stuff. The one with the bees is just incredible. But it's a great story. But yeah, he was basically saying that when he kind of put this theory out there, the guys that were kind of basically bad mouthing him, they're brilliant. That's exactly what I need from you. Thank you, because the more people that he has kind of hating on something that he's trying to do, the more likely that he is to get it patented or something. Yeah, I can't remember the ins and outs of it, but it was something along the lines of that.
I think one of the prerequisites of getting the patent is that you have to prove what you're talking about isn't generally considered the norms.
Yeah.
So the more qualified people that come out and say what you're talking about is bullshit, that actually makes his argument more credible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool. Well, he was a very interesting character. I love that one. That's one of my favourite ones now for a while. Yeah, really interesting character with his mushroom hat. It's mad.
I've mentioned Joe Rogan's come up 101 times, and long may he continue to come up. He's another guy that I would have looked up to, like McGregor and Kavanagh, as someone who just said fuck it and just kind of did it, and has 120 million downloads a month.
Crazy numbers, ridiculous. Yeah. And it's free, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, and you can skip through the ads if you're that way inclined, like I do, and like most people do.
And even he was on with, Russell Brand there a while ago, and he was asking him, like, why doesn't he kind of try and make more of it, like to a certain degree, like go and do talks on it or kind of make more money out of it. And he was there like, I don't think I feel a need to, like he's getting enough out of it what he gets out of it at the minute, like.
Yeah, you don't always have to. That's I suppose an important life lesson for everyone. You don't always have to maximize the shit out of everything that you do. Do you know that kind of way? It's okay to, like, if you're into running and you only run once a month. Well, if you're enjoying it and you only do it once a month, so be it. You don't have to commit to doing it once a week or twice a week or anything like it. As I said, we mentioned Rogan a number of times in this podcast. Do you listen to any others aside from Rogan?
I was saying a little earlier, Dan Carlin has a couple there. You mentioned kind of Jordan Peterson long before the pod, well, maybe not long before, but before podcast was kind of up as well. So started listening to a couple of bits and pieces from himself as well. But yeah, like that's just from listening to those kind of characters, you'll get recommendations from a few other ones then as well. So just open to kind of anything that's there, but they're the main ones at the minute. Haven't really been doing it. I'd listen to a lot of music, But I've started to change it up now from just kind of music to getting podcasts in my ears instead of just constantly music. So
well, that's one thing that I wanted to bring up, which was music, because you listened to my chat with Beef.
I did, yeah. Well, not all of it, but a good portion of it, yeah.
I think towards the start of it, we spoke about how the state of the music industry, I suppose, at the minute, and
Yeah,
I say at the minute, I mean since
10
when
years, like
plus.
yeah.
Gee, like when you think about it, 10 years ago was 2007.
I know, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I kind of remember the 90s as being when there was. I think I feel like the 90s we had real music, but even that was there was bits of it left in the 90s.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? It's not as if the 90s was good. It wasn't all bad.
No, like I do agree as well. Like, because there was some really kind of big bands that kind of come out early 90s, like the Nirvana, Oasis, all that sort of stuff. So it was a big change away from your fucking 80s pop kind of synthesizer bass sort of stuff. Like, so it definitely kind of was for me anyway a big kind of change. Like, there's still some great stuff, don't get me wrong, there's still some great stuff from a lot of decades, but yeah, the 90s definitely was a bit of a turning point, and that's when we were a little bit older than yourself now, but kind of that's that when we were in around our sort of teens, and that's the kind of stuff that was perfect for that sort of age, I think, as well. Just looking for something to release, I suppose, a bit, and the likes of being able to bang around and jump around to the likes of Oasis and Nirvana was kind of pretty cool, compared to some of the shit that was out there before. Like,
and is that because we were that age that we were able to bounce around to it? Like,
I think so.
Are we missing a load of bands that we would be bouncing around to if we were teenagers now?
Fuck no. Not a chance. Jesus, it's absolute shite out there at the minute. Like, just steer completely clear of the charts and you're doing okay, because some of the shite out there is just ridiculous. Like, what's the one? Do you know, fucking Beyonce, and don't know what song it is. Don't even ask me to try and remember it, but basically it's like, I like girls or something, I like boys is the name of the fucking thing, and there's a chorus, it's I like boys, and there's then you've got Freddie Mercury's Bohemian Rhapsody beside it, and it's number of writers 27 for the Beyonce song, and number of writers 1 for Bohemian Rhapsody, like, and there's fucking 3 lines to the fucking song. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, but yeah, no, the chart shit out there is horrendous. Like, manufactured, X Factor, all that bollocks just needs to. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Awful stuff.
I'm a big proponent of promoting the solution as opposed to promoting the problem.
Yeah.
So, like, you're in the band scene, I would say. Like, you're a bassist yourself. I know you're not in a band currently.
Non-practicing bassist, yeah. At the minute, my bass guitar is holding up my headphones upstairs. That's about all it does. It's not the most enjoyable instrument to play on your own as well. It's like...
Jeez, I never thought of it like that, actually.
Like, an acoustic bass would be ideal, I guess. But like, I play a bit of I played acoustic guitar more so, or picked that up more so than the bass. But yeah, like, it's harder. I'm finding it harder to kind of pick up kind of new music these days as well. A lot of it is word of mouth, which I think is probably the one I pick up most of my new music. I find myself just listening to, like, I have an iPod with 15,000 songs on it. Now, I probably haven't heard a lot of the stuff that's on that, simply because you just don't listen. You can't listen to every single song on it. But I'm finding myself just listening to old music or stuff that I already have, and I'm just struggling to find, we'll say, newer artists. Not struggling, but I just don't think there's that avenue to get it as easily as it was before. Or I don't know. There's a few different ways that I would get it, I guess. So word of mouth, going to gigs, so you'd pick up festivals. So festivals are great for finding different new acts and that sort of stuff. So just going to acts that you've never heard of before, and you'll just find some gems every now and again.
And do you do that? Because, like, it's been a long time since I was at a festival.
I really love live music. I think, like a lot of people, I'm sure, would have downloaded a lot of free music over the years. And look, I'm certainly not going to balance it up, but my kind of thing is that I go to enough gigs to maybe give back, I suppose, for downloading all the free shit. Like, so this year I've been to an incredible amount of gigs, but I love it. It's just one of my big passions, like, is live music. There's nothing better than kind of seeing a band that you've never seen live before, you've been listening to for 5-10 years or whatever, It's just brilliant. I actually really love it now. And the festivals, like I said, is probably the best way to pick up new stuff. Obviously, gigs that you're going to, it's a band you generally know, I suppose. But festivals for me is a great way of picking up new stuff. And other than that, fucking Shazam. I'm sure you know Shazam. Everyone knows it. It's brilliant as well. So you can, anything that you're watching, ad, whatever it is, it's a great way. And then like I've been using that from as soon as it came out. I've been on Shazam, like, so I've downloaded or purchased, whatever the case may be. Probably downloaded, but let's be honest here.
When was the last?
Whoever's
what
listening
decade
in that business, I'm only joking. It wasn't really.
What was the last decade you paid for music as?
Oh Lord, jeez, I honestly can't remember. I think I would buy the odd bit of merch, I suppose, at gigs, I suppose. And that'd be it, like, just as a keepsake. Because I don't. Who fucking listens to CDs anymore? Like, that's the thing. Like, what's the point in buying? Like, obviously, through the likes of kind of what you call it? I've lost iTunes or Spotify and that sort of stuff is when you would pay. When I would have paid for stuff there as well. But like, that's what CDs are gone now, essentially. So I think a lot of people, obviously, if they are buying stuff, it's online, I guess, in general. So,
well, listen, I think you contribute far more than most by actually going to gigs, and going to festivals. But on the festival thing, on it being a way of kind of sourcing new music, as far as I'm aware, the festivals that draw the biggest crowds presumably have the biggest acts, so people flock to see people they know. And I don't think I've gone to a festival and watched or listened to someone that I didn't know or hadn't heard of.
I wouldn't agree entirely.
No, for me, like,
okay,
but for other people, because it's one thing that I hear more than most from people, or one of the things at least, is that they're looking for new music.
Yeah,
and you say that you can go to festivals and you go to a lot of different gigs, but I think a lot of people are out. You're in the gig loop. You're a proper music aficionado or whatever.
Would be, yeah.
So what can, like, if you've been to half a dozen gigs this year, like, I wouldn't even know. I could, like, Alche are one of my favourite bands, and I wouldn't know when they're on. I'd need a friend of mine to tell me that when they were on. Is there a good resource for people to see what's on or where
Twitter,
they're on?
I think, is probably the one I would use most for that, I guess. There's a few different sort of music kind of people I would follow, I guess, and that sort of stuff. Pitchfork is a great one for kind of new music as well. But for actual acts, I guess I look it up. A lot of the time you just hear about it. You'll either see it on a Facebook feed or Twitter feed or whatever. So it's just looking out for it. So if you follow the right kind of threads, I guess, you're going to eventually get, or you can simply just Google All J when they're playing. That's what I would do. Like what I'm doing, I did this year for the first time. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to hopefully keep it a running thing now. So, work would be pretty busy around sort of December, January. It's tough to get a lot of time off as well, and it's a fairly crazy time of the year. So February you can generally take time off whenever. So this year, should I say, took a week off, and sort of decided that I wanted to get out of Dublin as well, like, so just to properly kind of get a break from it, I guess. So I was like, got a bottle of wine, having a look around Europe. So sort of thought I would get to a country I hadn't been before, just to kind of have a look around or just check it out, like, basically. And then I sort of said, oh, fuck it, sure, might as well see if there's anybody I like playing in sort of city as well. So I found a group called Bonobo, or he's kind of DJ with a band as well, really cool, some great albums, good tunes, like, and he just happened to be playing in Germany, so there was like 4 cities across 4 days, and it was midweek, so I'd taken the midweek off, so all sold out, unfortunately, but I managed to get a ticket off a sister company to take a master or something like that. And then kind of had to book flights and hotel then, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see it. So I paid double the odds for the ticket, which wasn't too bad. It was like 70 quid or 80 quid or something like that. But then that night booked, that was a half a bottle of wine through, and when the bottle of wine was finished, I had a hotel and flights booked. So went over, and I had an unbelievable time. It was brilliant. Like, the gig was class. Met a nice lady, which is good as well.
Always a bonus.
So I'm going to do it again every February. I think I'm going to try and do it. So I've been just looking recently to see if I can find someone, not necessarily someone I haven't seen before, which would be great if I could. It's not always possible, I guess, but even someone I have seen before in another city. It was a brilliant experience. I definitely recommend it. It's class. But yeah, the festivals, just going back to what you were saying a little earlier, I understand where you're coming from. It obviously has the big headline acts, but for the likes of Electric Picnic, Body and Soul, that kind of stuff, it's more of an experience is maybe the wrong word, but it's such a good time right across the weekend. There's lots of different stuff to do, like just comedy, spoken word, all that kind of crack as well. So it's a great weekend. But it's not everyone's scene, because excuse me, you're talking like camping, doing it rough, I suppose, to a certain degree, and that's not everyone's cup of tea, sitting in a tent or sleeping in a tent for 3 nights or whatever as well.
Yeah, well, the last concert or the last festival I went to, we got fucking flooded out of it in the tent. Everything got soaked. Everything of mine got soaked. Everything of hers somehow miraculously remained dry.
Yeah.
But hence, that's the last one that I've gone to.
Yeah.
You mentioned the spoken word, and Paul Webster, when I had him on, was talking about, was it a gig in the Sugar Club, I think?
Yeah.
I think it was part of the recording that kind of got corrupted, and so it wouldn't have been
on air.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'd have to double check, but anyway, he was saying that there's an opportunity for people to go up and tell basically funny stories. So they have a theme. So the theme of the month might be, I don't know, sandwiches, and you have to come up with a funny story about sandwiches.
Yeah,
You've got 5 minutes on the mic, and similar to what you were mentioning earlier,
in the International Bar, kind of an open mic night, that kind of thing. Or
yeah,
no?
It was in the Sugar Club. I'm fairly sure of that.
Okay,
though.
yeah.
But that spoken word and those kind of more intimate gigs.
Yeah.
Have you gone to any spoken word?
Yeah.
Or
well,
what is spoken word for me and for anyone
poetry
listening?
or kind of readings and that sort of stuff. Like
Very pretentious.
Completely.
But
like
that's how it comes across, though, isn't it?
I think so. I think when you hear it, but it's a different story because there's different aspects of it. So for the likes of, we'll say, Electric Picnic, there's what's the name of it? Body and Soul. I think it is in the Body and Soul section of it. So it'd be broken up into different sections. There's like Trench Town, where you'd have kind of reggae, all that sort of stuff, all the different areas. But the likes of, Rubber Bandits,
yes,
Man Blind Boy, like he would
Mr.
perform.
Book Club.
Yeah, like he would perform at that, and just talking about just anything, like just a topic. It doesn't have to be like a poem or a fucking pretentious, like fucking, what's that, smack poetry, all that kind of shit. Like,
what's smack poetry?
Or is it slam poetry? Sorry, I don't know. It's like, I've never really seen it. It's just ridiculous shit. It's just throwing out random words like stapler, hula hoop, fucking bullshit. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but something along the lines of that. But yeah, like even the likes of him, he would go up and he'd perform, and just really interested. Like, he's a very intelligent man and knows his shit, and he's kind of, again, our kind of age group, so he's immersed in what's going on, I suppose, around the world, and even just at home, I guess, too. But yeah, so I've seen him kind of do a few kind of talks, that sort of stuff as well. So it's basically just that, I suppose, a spoken word. But
almost like a solo podcast. Like there's a lot of solo podcasts out
there.
Yeah,
I guess so. So he has his topic, or they have their topic, and they just rant on about it for a certain amount of time, I guess. But it's interesting stuff. For the one that I've kind of been to, it's just in the International Bar, so it's just in the centre of Dublin there. But it'll be like an open mic night, so people can come up and just perform music, poetry, comedy, all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's interesting. Some shite stuff as well, though, that you have to sit through. But yeah, it was a decent night out, and we kind of gone for maybe over the space of a month or so. We went to every one of them, and just different people performing now. Not me. I wouldn't be at that at all, unless I was part of a band or something. But fuck that, getting up doing poetry. Tough to do. I think the one that I find really tough, or well, obviously not that I find, but I think would be really hard, is comedy. It's a tough game to do it, I think, because maybe not as black and white as this, but you're either fucking funny or you're not. So it's like you're up there basically to make people laugh, and if you bomb, it's just like, crickets, fucking tumbleweeds, like shit. I'd say it's so tough, but it's something I'd like to do, or to go to more. I love music gigs, obviously, but there's not that many comedians out there that you definitely go to see. Like, I think the last fucking comic I've seen was just maybe what's his name, Peter Kay, maybe, and that's years ago. Like, unless I maybe sat in at the comedy tent in EP, which I probably did, but that's about it. Like,
not to bring up a touchy subject, but did you get Flight of Concord tickets since?
I have, yes.
Good lad.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it sounds like Paul can't go. So Dave kind of just said, yeah, take it going if I want it. So
happy days for you.
Yeah,
shit,
delighted.
Shit for Paul.
Poor old Paul. Yeah. I know, like myself and him go to a lot of gigs together now. I don't know what's come up with him, but I think they did release a second date as well, didn't they?
I didn't hear that at all.
They did, yeah, but I was there like, I think by the time I had sort of realised the tickets were way up on what, 200 quid or the last few that were left again, so I got dicked twice on it. But I'm actually, I can get quite lucky with tickets, so I'll obviously, if there's someone I want to see, I'll always kind of make the effort and try and get it, but a lot of them tend to fall on my lap as well. So like I'm going to Queen's Stone Age next week because my housemate booked a flight to America. It's like, do you want a ticket? Yep, sure do. Obviously to pay for it, but yeah.
I think luck is like that though. I think I can never remember who to attribute quotes to, but I'm going to go with John Kavanagh again on this one. Maybe it's not his now, but the quote is, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
Love that shit.
It's brilliant.
Love that.
And it's true, I guess, as well. I guess I actually probably would be quite a lucky person. I've kind of won a lot of mad shit over the years. Like,
but you see, again, like I used to think that I wasn't a lucky person because I never won anything. But then I kind of realised, I kind of realised that I never entered anything.
Patter kind of was saying that to me as well. It's his, it's Roisin, his wife's dad, would be a regular winner of competitions like through the papers or reads or whatever, like because he's fucking entering them. Of
course,
like, that's it. Like, but you have to enter shit to actually, got to be in it to win it, as they say. But I kind of just, one of the old jobs would have been on or listen to radio. I just fucking don't listen to radio at all these days, mostly because it's shite, unless you're talking about maybe news sort of orientated ones or chat show sort of stuff. But for the most part, the music would turn me off straight away. But kind of when you did get forced to listen to it, I just entered loads of different shit and won loads of different shit, so that was kind of cool.
Do you have is it a bobblehead Ray or a odd one out
No,
hoodie?
yeah, the odd one out hoodie. $3,000 I won off Ray Foley for entering some shitty competition.
You're joking me?
No. $3,000, yeah. I think some new hotel or something in Carlow. Some shitty competition. It was a bit weird. So, is it JP, Ray and JP? They were the two lads that used to do it. I think.
Yeah.
And they were pretending to be outside a nightclub. And there was a tune playing in the nightclub, we'll say, and you had to guess that tune. And I just recognised the tune and text in, and then was on the phone like 5 minutes later when they called back, and I got it right. Unfortunately, it was a fucking Take That song. When I'm telling people for the most part, but now this is actually going on record, bollocks. So yeah, I usually tell people it's like fucking, it's Pink Floyd or something cool, but shitty Take That fucking tune that I happened to recognise. And it was just like there was 5 daily competition. Like I was on the Friday, and then they just pulled the name out of the hat, and yours truly won $3,000, which is nice.
Daniel Gavin, Ireland's biggest Take That fan.
Second. I know a couple of people that are one person that's really into it now. But yeah, that was kind of cool. I was on like MTV as well. Won a signed Liverpool jersey back in the day too when I was like 17. Wrote in a fucking letter. That's how old that was.
Yeah.
I designed my letter in the Liverpool colours and sent it off. Got the question right that was on that week. It was like a show called Up for It Live. Fucking brilliant, actually. And that's what the likes of the music. Do you know, on Sky or whatever, you have all your music channels. Majority are absolute trash, like just brutal stuff. A lot of time there's not even fucking music on it. It's like pregnant teens or some shit. But that used to be a really good show. It was on every day at 3 o'clock after school till 5 o'clock. He had just different guests on, different new videos, new music and stuff like that as well. So I was a big fan of it, and just happened to be running a competition where you could win a signed Liverpool jersey, loads of other shit, vinyl and CDs and all that stuff. Entered it, and then it was mad. It was on the Friday is when they announced the winner, and Ozzy Osbourne was on the show, and he just went nuts and fucking wrecked the place. So it was just, they went completely over time and didn't get to do a lot of segments that they normally did. So just wrapping up the show, and he had my envelope on the fucking desk, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have enough time to announce the winner, but here's your envelope. You now know who you are." It's like, that's fucking me. That's fucking me. But yeah, I took the day off school then on Monday to watch it. Like, but yeah, that was pretty cool as well. Yeah, you can get. Well, that's it. Like, you have to get into these things to win it. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of kind of getting into things and getting back to what we were saying about going to see, stand up and spoken word and going to festivals and different things, thankfully there seems to be a bit of a resurgence in people kind of going and doing stuff. Or should I say, spending their money on going and doing stuff, as opposed to spending their money on, their fourth guitar or, changing their car more regularly. I think we got big into that in Ireland in particular, in the kind of in the boom. We
just upping what you have already, like, or just
advancing relentlessly, like getting like as soon as the new fucking iPhone or Samsung came out, you had it on pre-order, like, and like now I know there's built-in obsolescence into smartphones and that, but now I'll drag out whatever smartphone I have. I won't get another one until the one that I have is actually broken, as opposed to just getting the most recent one.
What's the point? Like, what's the fucking point?
None. I think that the recession, if it taught us anything, it taught us to kind of get a bit more value out of our money.
Big time, yeah.
Speaking of which, how much are you saving being on the vape pen?
I haven't been off it that long, but
what were you smoking?
I was smoking like the amber leaf, so pouches, 15 quid, we'll say 16 quid, whatever it is. I would probably get 2 of those in the space of maybe 3 weeks. Right,
so 25 quid, so 100 quid a month, say?
Yeah, roughly.
It's a lot of gigs. Like, how much? What's the average price into a gig? I don't have a clue.
A lot more expensive than it used to be, depending on maybe the gigs, but you're probably talking about an average of maybe 70 quid, maybe 80 quid for some of the bigger names.
And why is, like, surely the price of those things I would have thought would have come down, if anything?
No.
Why, I don't know, but...
I don't know. I guess maybe because I don't know how they set the prices to take. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I'd imagine because artists aren't earning as much from, we'll say, hard copy sales, so like CDs obviously dying off, etc. I'd say it's probably just to make more money from that. Like, that's how they get... Most artists, I believe, will be the way they make the majority of the money is from tours and gigs, as opposed to album sales, downloads, that sort of stuff as well. So I'd imagine they just have to cover themselves, and that's why it's gone up. But it's like fucking anything. Like, I bought like a whole nut bar there in the shop the other day, $150. It's like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? I just threw it back. I was like, forget, I don't want it. I'm not paying $150 for that. But it's mad, like, you just notice it just constantly creeps up the price of stuff, and that's the same at gigs, I guess, as well. But like, you might even pay, like, I went to see Radiohead this year, and it was one of the best gigs I've ever been at. I've been following them for years. I'd never seen them live. I paid like 110 quid for that ticket. Now, it was like one of the seating ones, I guess. So I prefer to stand at a gig for the most part. You're just kind of right in the midst of it. But I think I just took what I could get for that one because they sold out in no time. So yeah, 110 quid or whatever, but I'd say an average around 70-80 for the most part.
And what about, like, that's obviously for, an internationally renowned superstar band.
But like, yeah, well, I guess, like, it obviously does depend on the band itself or the artist, but like, you'd pick up some like, even Irish singer-songwriters are lesser known for maybe 25-30 quid. I bought one there. Again, I sort of remember telling you I was looking for something abroad. Yeah. And I was just kind of looking at the few different cities that I haven't been to around Europe, or countries in general, I guess. But I spotted one that I've been listening to for a while. I think they're American, actually, but they weren't playing in February when I was thinking of going, but they're playing in Dublin in January. So I was like, oh, fuck, there we go, sort that out. It was like 25 quid plus a poxy booking fee. The booking fees are ridiculous. I don't know if you've booked many tickets through, or even just other stuff or whatever, but through Ticketmaster in general are a disaster. Like, I bought 2 tickets for the National next year in June or something.
The National are a band?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, one of my favourite bands. Really, really good. Check them out if you haven't already.
And who else? Because I meant to ask you earlier, and I kind of forgot, and I don't want to miss the opportunity of letting you say who people should be listening to. If we shouldn't be listening to the charts, who should we be listening to? Irish bands in particular, if you know any.
Not so much. Like, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of Irish artists out there. I maybe don't listen to as much as I should, but I don't really have any new Irish artists. If anything, it would be going back, listening to likes of the Frames, Glenn Hansard, that sort of stuff.
But even those, because I think there's a generation, if not a couple of generations,
probably
of people who don't know these people.
Yeah, they might know Glenn Hansard, but didn't know he was in the Frames. Like, that's where he started off, I suppose, I guess. But David Kitt is a big favourite of mine. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea. I like him a lot, though. He's sort of come on a bit. Or he's constantly kind of doing stuff. But he's a big favourite of mine, I guess, as well. Outside of that, though, Grizzly Bear band I listen to a lot.
Never heard of them.
Pretty good. The National. John Butler Trio, you might have heard of them before.
Yes, Australian lad.
Yeah, brilliant. Really, really talented musician. Generally just takes two lads, a bassist and a drummer, and creates a new album every so often. I think that's the way he generally does it, which I think is kind of cool because it freshens up the sound a bit as well. So it's not the same band every single time. It's him and then two other musicians that he's bouncing off and bouncing different ideas off, I guess, as well. So it kind of keeps it fresh enough. As far as I'm aware, I think that's the way he generally kind of did it. And actually myself and Dave were supposed to see him in, Grand Canal in Dublin there, but he cancelled the last few legs. And I don't think he's been back to Dublin or Ireland since. I was looking again around for him, was one of the lads I'd love to see elsewhere. But yeah, nothing doing. He's like gigging in Australia. Did he get a bad rap for being, what did they call him, a billionaire hippie? Possibly, yeah. I think he might have got a bit. I didn't read an awful lot into it now, to be honest, but I can sort of see how it might have been construed as that, I guess. But yeah, I'd follow him on kind of Twitter, I guess, as well, and hoping that he kind of comes back. I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about that or what.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, but excuse me. Yeah, it's finding new stuff again. Like I said, it's not always the easiest, but certainly through Twitter, I think, and some of the different people you follow, you'd find snippets of bits and pieces there as well. Actually, going back to Shazam, so what I was saying was, like, you'd just obviously Shazam a tune, but I would have downloaded, we'll say, an album worth of Disc Lad's song just off the base of a snippet of Shazam. So it was like, fuck it, sure, download it, see if he's any good. So one really good song, or a song that you like the sound of. But that's gotten me into kind of maybe another artist as well, like, so not just that one tune or having that single song on your phone, for example, if you were to download that. But I'd kind of I'll get the album off the strength of that, and you find some gems. I can't think of many off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure there's plenty of albums on the laptop or on the iPod that are Shazam, kind of found from Shazam. Like,
and for the few, like, I know Shazam is around a long time and it's well kind of known, but can you lay it out for people who don't know what the hell you're talking about?
Yeah, basically? Just an app that you can download. I think it's free, and then if you're listening to the radio, an ad on TV, watching a series, a show or whatever, just hold the device that you have it on, a tablet or phone, up to the source of it, and it just comes back with the name of the artist, the band, album, etc. Generally a video link to it on YouTube or Vivo or whatever as well.
And probably a link to where you can buy it.
Exactly, yeah, Spotify or whatever else, exactly. So yeah, it's really handy, it's really cool, because it's mad. Years ago you would be on the hunt for this fucking tune that you heard on an ad. It's like, I don't know how to get it. Like,
yeah, you'd have it in your head.
Do you know that tune? And you usually can't fucking sing, so it sounds completely different to what you're singing than what you're actually kind of
what you've heard.
To when you're saying it to another person. It's like, that doesn't sound like anything. But yeah, it used to be a nightmare just trying to fucking find out who it was, and the joy when you finally found it, like 6 months later. Like, that's the
Take That song I couldn't think of.
Fuck you.
You actually reminded me, just you that's big into your music, you'll be forever known as Ireland's greatest Take That fan now after this. But you reminded me of my I think you were at my debut fight, were you?
I was indeed, yeah.
And you remember the fucking tune that I walked out to?
Oh, I do. You too. Elevation. Was it? Not your fucking choice, obviously, but Christ.
Bastards, whoever fucked that one up.
Didn't matter, you kicked a shite out of your man regardless. So, but yeah, I don't know, it's a really cool thing, the walkout tunes for it. I know it didn't obviously work out too well for yourself. You had a Claxons tune, I believe, is that right? Was the one you had planned on using?
Yeah, it was a Claxons tune. Jesus, I can't even think of the name.
I think it was like Intergalactic or something like that.
There was definitely an inter in there. It might come to me, yeah.
Yeah. It was a good tune. I remember it was kind of real lively, real fucking I suppose, kind of
Rousing.
getting you going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know what I'd use myself.
They're hard because there was loads of ones that I kind of had in the maybe pile, but they have to be. You only get like 15 or 20 seconds, really.
That's it. Yeah,
by
by the time you get to the cage or whatever, unless you're giving it socks up at the start, like putting your hands up in the air, it's like, yeah, come on, and they're just waiting. But no, you're obviously kind of on your way straight in, and then it's done.
Getting away from new music and onto new podcasts, you mentioned him yourself, Mr. Bow Club.
Oh, yeah.
Right thereof. Have you heard his new podcast?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't realise he had one.
I think he started it 2 weeks after mine, so if this is episode 6, he's episode 4.
Right, okay.
It's weird. It's good.
Is it just himself?
Yeah, it is
Okay.
just himself. He's released a book recently called The Gospel According to Blind Boy, I think it's called. And it's a collection of short stories. And in his podcast, let's say if they're an hour and a half long, the first 45 minutes of it are him just talking shite.
Right.
And then the second 45 minutes are him reading either all or part of the short stories that are in his book.
Right.
Now, for me personally, I'm not into his short stories. I don't really get it. I don't know, it's just not my thing. I really enjoy his 45 minutes of talking shite.
Yeah, he's got a strange old sense of humour, because I would follow him on maybe Twitter and never really use Facebook these days at all, to be quite honest, but when I did, I think they were on that, and they put on some weird little snippets of kind of stories that they would have created, and they're fucking off the wall, to say the least. Like, the guy's mad. But what sort of stuff is he talking about? Has he got guests on, or is he just kind of chatting himself?
As of yet, it's just him and the mic,
right?
And it's strangely good.
Yeah,
it's captivating. Do you know
okay,
that kind of way?
Yeah.
And, like, it's mad. People have asked me about the podcast, say, like, let's say they've heard from someone that I'm doing it. What they'll often ask is, you know, I've heard they're fucking 2 hours long, or something like that is the usual one. What do you talk about?
How am I going to find that time?
Exactly, yeah. What do you talk about? And the answer is always, oh fuck, it could be anything.
Yeah,
kind of way. Because there's never any plan as such, and that's part of the whole kind of point.
Not
of
like
it.
an MMA podcast. It's not this. It's just conversation.
Exactly.
Chat, which is mad.
So Blind Boys is very much like that. He could be he could cover 20 topics in the first 5 minutes. Do you know that kind of way? And then he goes into his short story. But he's making it his own. He seems to be doing it independently. He's not part of, you know, the Irish Times or whoever else, which is kind of cool.
Or RT or whatever. Like, I know they had a running series there on RT1, I think, or 2. One of the other.
Yeah, all the kind of traditional media kind of giants.
Did you watch any of that? Sorry to cut across.
No,
Did you watch any of that? It was kind of like their guide to sex and money and the different things.
The Rubber Bandits?
Yeah.
No, I didn't actually. I saw their guide to, or saw half of their guide to the 1916 Rising. Did you know those?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think that's kind of one of the first ones that I think, I could be wrong now, but I think they had that on RT, and then maybe off the strength of that, they got the 5 or 6 guide to whatever the topic may have been.
Right,
on afterwards.
When I watched the 1916 one, because of their kind of weird sense of humour, I wasn't sure how historically accurate it was.
Yeah.
And I've stopped following The Onion and Waterford Whisperers. As much as I love both.
Yeah.
Because I've caught myself about to say something to someone and then going, oh,
hold on a second,
did I hear that on Waterford Whisperers? Because if I did, I'm going to look like a complete dick.
Yeah.
So I try and limit the media that I consume to factual stuff, so that if I do repeat it, I can be relatively confident that it's accurate, not parody. Like,
yeah.
So when I was listening to the 1916 stuff, I didn't know. It could be, for all I know, it could be all completely factual. And if I was to find that out, I'd definitely go back and have a listen.
Yeah.
But that's just what stopped me. But what I was saying was, aside from the Rubber Bandits, like the big media players, like, so all the radio stations and all the newspapers, they're starting to, I suppose, start their own podcasts, but they're doing what they've always done, so in podcast form,
pushing their own agenda to a certain degree.
Yeah, entirely. Yeah, so
okay.
it's the same thing, only in podcast form. But what I love about what I'm doing and what Blind Boy seems to be doing as independents is just kind of finding their way. So what
Yeah,
we're doing is something new. It's not something that has been done for years, and we're now releasing it in podcast form.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I like
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that element of it. It's new. It's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And the way you get your news these days as well is just like, there's obviously, like we said, pushing their own agenda and that kind of stuff, and you don't know whether it's bad. Even like we'll say in the presidential election for the US, like you had the two big different kind of news sources like CNN and Fox or whatever, yeah. And like two of them running like the same story but two completely different kind of angles on both of them. It's like, so which is right then?
Yeah,
so it's bullshit. I don't listen to. I kind of, again, same with sort of music to a certain degree. You're getting it from the likes of maybe Twitter, or I suppose sometimes it's, even though it's like maybe just apps and that kind of thing, the likes of the Journal, that sort of stuff. But I think Twitter is probably where I'd find out a lot of my stuff that I want to know about, because I think you're probably looking at getting a more accurate description from there, because it's usually people who are maybe not necessarily on the ground, but they'd be closer to a story, I suppose, than a big publication just twisting it around whatever way they so choose, just to sell papers or to kind of push their agenda.
Like, you're a massive Liverpool fan, so if something massive was to happen in Liverpool, why would you read it on the BBC website when you can follow,
exactly,
at Liverpool FC or whatever the handle is? Of course,
like. Yeah. I just went to check. I have like the RT News app, I'll say. I just went in just to check, see what was headlines wise, and I ended up buying 2 pairs of shoes, which is just a fucking joke. It's like, what the fuck? I went in to see what's going on in the world, and I ended up coming out with 2 new pairs of shoes. And the fucking worst thing about it is just some, those random ads that kind of come up. Like, and I had actually bought, we'll say, something from it months ago. So I think I can't remember what it was online. But because I fucking hate shopping, and just do not like going into shops. Unless, man. Yeah, exactly. Well, like if I do, I have my list. I know my shops I'm going to. I'm in, I'm out, and I'm done. But I do like I got a lot of stuff online. But I think it might have been the same company, which is what I'll speak about now in a minute as well. But basically going in, looking to see what's happening on the news, end up buying the fucking 2 pairs of shoes. So, but since then, on any other social media or Google search or whatever I'm doing, the fucking same company's there. It's everywhere. Everything I go into. So this, I think it's M&M Direct or something like that. It's just popping up on every thread that I'm looking at, not just, we'll say, on that app or whatever. It's fucking bullshit.
It's a cookie in your browser.
Yeah. Fucking bollocks.
No, you can't obviously go in and clear all that shit.
Of course, clear the cache or whatever else. Yeah, I know, but that was mad. It's just like, going into catch up on the old news and 2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, no, but that's what RT's objective is.
Yeah,
is to funnel their viewers to their advertisers to get them to buy shoes or whatever it is.
Completely fell for that one.
But look,
I needed shoes though. I needed shoes, and they were.
This is the thing. This is what I wanted to ask you. Like, you needed shoes, but RTE, maybe not RTE, but maybe it was Google or whoever served that ad. They fucking knew you needed shoes.
Yeah.
They didn't. Well, do you know that kind of way?
I don't know. How do you mean? How do they know?
You see, this is how insidious these fucking companies are. They knew you needed shoes. Now, I don't know how they knew, but had you browsed...
Spying on me?
They do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
And it's not even that they're spying on you. You're sending them all your information.
Yeah, I know. No, I do. I understand where you're coming from.
Kind of way? Yeah. You're like stalking yourself. You're in the bushes, peeping into your rooms. Like,
you need new shoes.
But like, can you remember, would you have like searched Clark's or wherever looking for shoes recently?
No, probably not. Because I don't know. Don't think so.
I haven't seen an ad for shoes, I don't think, ever. And maybe I have. But the odds of that being a coincidence, I would argue, are fucking nil. Practically.
Yeah, and it's mad. It's the way it's been used these days as well. Like, going back to the kind of the presidential kind of CNN and all that sort of stuff, but the way Trump kind of used it as well. Didn't he hire some fucking company with algorithms, that sort of stuff, to get, we'll say, particular type of news into certain parts of America? What was the one that Clinton or Hillary said about? Was it young black people? Did she kind of come out with a name or a real derogatory term about young black people or something?
She summed them up as a demographic or something, did she?
Yeah, I think there was some certain, I can't quite remember what it was, but there was a name on it. But basically, we're saying the week before the elections, or when the vote was being cast, they were able to put, we'll say, that story directly into people's feeds and Facebook in a particular area, like that was heavily populated by black people, we'll say, as well.
Yeah.
And they obviously, that was a massive turning point in winning the vote in that particular state or whatever it was.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
So it's crazy.
But it's mad. You see it in you see it doesn't. It's not even online, because this type of advertising has been around forever. But a really blatantly obvious place you see it is on the buses. Do you use Dublin buses?
Yeah,
at all?
yeah, I would do. Yeah.
Would you live? What area were you in here?
Rathmines, yeah.
So we're at south side. Do you be the north side at all? Really?
Not
aside from passing on your way to, let's say, somewhere else.
Not really. No. At the odd pub, I guess, every now and again, but not really.
Can you name an advertiser that's on the buses or in the buses? Say. You know the way there's kind of posters inside the buses.
Like McGregor's one was actually the most recent one I saw for his movie Notorious. Like, was there?
Can you remember what it said or what way it was sold to you? Or
not quite. No, I think it was just like a tagline underneath. It was kind of something about hard work will get you where you need to be, or something like that. There was a tagline at the top, and then just available on cinemas, whatever, from the 11th of November, or whatever.
Right. Well, the reason that I ask, and the kind of the point that I'm labouring to make, is you'll see an ad, say, on the south side for McGregor, and what it'll say is, go into Marks and Spencer's and get the meal deal and a nice bottle of red wine, and sit down and watch the McGregor fight. But on the north side, it'll be get yourself to your local Londis and buy a 12-pack of beer and watch the McGregor fight.
Yeah,
so they're tailoring their ads to where the ads are placed, which kind of makes sense.
It does, of course, yeah, it's clever.
But in the online world, they're not targeting, the area that you live in and saying, you live on the north side, so therefore you earn X amount a year, so therefore you're going to buy this brand of shoe as opposed to, a more expensive brand. But so that's judging you by where you live and assuming you're something. But with the online advertisements, they're targeting you.
Yeah.
Not everyone in this area. They're targeting Daniel fucking Gavin.
Yeah, I know.
Who has a beard. Do you know that kind of way? Like you'll see an ad for beard oil.
Yeah, and I'd use kind of certain websites will say to get beard products or whatever else, and not that I've noticed straight away, but I'm sure I have. I've definitely come across, will say, advertisements for a fucking mustache comb or whatever.
My missus has never seen an ad for a mustache comb.
I know.
In the same way, you've probably never seen like a fucking sanitary towel ad.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing. Man.
Yeah. Would you be into branding much yourself? Would that be a big thing for yourself? Like, would you have to get kind of Adidas shoes or Nike shoes?
I'd be the complete opposite.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it'd be complete. Like, I would. I think there's certain things that, like, it just makes sense to buy a particular brand because they would be known for being very good. But like clothes-wise, that sort of stuff, even for just things in general, it wouldn't really have an effect on me now much at all, I don't think. Like, but yeah, I guess it doesn't bother me. Like, I wouldn't have to buy kind of certain shirts, or I could just as easily buy a fucking Pennies or Dunn's shirt, and it wouldn't bother me at all. Like, but
no, I'd be the exact same. I might be a bit hypocritical wearing a Tommy Hilfiger
like I'm wearing
now.
fucking Adidas runners, but you know what I mean. Like, the jeans are fucking online, don't know where they're from or whatever else. Like, it doesn't bother. I'm saying that, like, I do like I would do a little bit of shopping every now and again online itself, and I like a particular site, we'll say, for t-shirts, but I think that's kind of a little bit better because it's not your run of the mill or your kind of brands as well, and it's just an independent kind of site, I guess. They're
you're an independent kind of person.
Yeah,
do you know that kind of way? You're not a sheep.
Yeah. Well, I think it might have been recommended to me by someone, but still, I guess
you're not your. And again, the whole kind of premise of this show and whatever this podcast is going to morph into, the whole off the lead mentality, is that you're not just buying the same shit that everyone else buys.
Yeah,
you know that kind of way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I like to support companies. So to give you an example, literally just looking down at kind of what I'm wearing now, I'm not wearing a belt that I often wear, which is a tap out belt.
Right.
You know the brand Tap Out?
Yeah.
I used to buy. There was a time for about 3 or 4 years where you wouldn't see me wear a t-shirt unless it was a tap out t-shirt, and the reason for that was, number one, I thought they made cool t-shirts, but number two, I love the story. Do you know the tap out story?
No, enlighten me.
There was 3 lads, like myself, yourself, and some other fella, and they had heard about this thing called the UFC and went to see it, kind of got hooked and started touring, not touring, but going round to see all the shows. So there'd be a show on the East Coast, the West Coast, wherever, and they'd drive to see it because they were just big into it. And at the time, nobody knew what tap out meant. It was this new term.
Right.
So they thought it'd be cool to put tap out on a t-shirt and start selling it out of the boot of their car. And skip forward 10 years and they're all multi-millionaires off this tap out brand.
Yeah.
And again, I love the t-shirts, love the stories. Used to know the name of the 3 founders,
right,
who always ran the business.
Yeah.
And just thought it was a cool story and liked giving the money to them. I felt like I was part of it and everything else. But then they were bought out by like a massive t-shirt company. Right. And I never bought one again.
Okay, yeah.
And I like that. I like being involved in the story.
Well,
you get that with going to gigs as well. Like you're part of that band's success by paying for their gigs.
No, that's cool. Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Definitely.
But I think we're moving away from just, I suppose, the generic brands that are kind of pushed at us all the time, which is a great thing. Because one thing I do like about brands is, like the Tap Out story. There's things that I would love to own. I can't think of anything offhand now, but I love homemade stuff, and I think there's a resurgence in that as well. And like what we were talking about, the kind of spending your money on experiences. So I love the idea of going to, let's say, a bakery and being shown how the bread is made and being part of their story and buying local. And
my mum would do a lot of it, like, so she makes a lot of original stuff, like, but she would teach classes off the back of it and how it's made and that kind of thing as well. And then you'd go from a journey from kind of this one little piece that's turned into a really quality looking thing, and the fact that it's kind of homemade and that kind of stuff, that story is behind it then as well, and that's cool. I do like that sort of original sort of idea of kind of getting something across.
Because she upcycles stuff as well, doesn't she?
Kind of lots of different stuff like that, crochets. It's kind of like a knitting kind of thing, does hats, and it's kind of cool. Like I'd never have to pay for a hat in my life again, and as with no hair on the top of your head, it is always a good thing. But she's great. Like you can put in like I had a Minion hat, we'll say, and I'd tell her kind of stuff, we'll say, that would be trending right now, we'll say, movies wise, for just to try and obviously kind of sell them, I guess. But yeah, it's cool. Like so, but yeah, upcycling is class. Like so. She'd go around, she'd kind of hunt for kind of just old pieces of furniture and then just strips it down, makes it into this just unbelievable looking piece of furniture. And she'd make a fair bit of money out. Like some of the stuff that she does is she'd pick up something for $5 and she could turn that into maybe a 70 or 80 euro profit. Like, which is class.
You know, with a bit of work that she enjoys doing, you know.
But as well as that, it's kind of, as I'm sure you might have in your own house, people will have like furniture that they're thinking of fucking out and just spending maybe, I don't know, 100 quid or 50 quid and getting a new coffee table, probably more. I don't know, I wouldn't really purchase an awful lot of furniture, but yeah, so like instead of throwing out that old table that you have, she would have people bringing stuff to her, because she'd be well known in certain circles, I guess, and at different craft fairs and that kind of stuff.
Give her the plug there. Has she a Facebook page?
Yes, I think it's Handmade with Love by Jackie, I think was her Facebook page, so get her on that. But and contact her through there. But like people would kind of through the likes of Facebook or through the actual stuff that she would do, and just bring an old chair, an old coffee table. A week later, it's a fucking brand spanking new, unbelievable looking piece of kit. Like, so it's great
with a story.
Exactly. So it's great. I think it's like she's always has been very talented. But yeah, it's a cool way of kind of getting stuff, and free hats. It's always good.
No, but I'm all over that. I love that, because when you, let's say if you've got a couch that has sentimental value, or a chair or any fucking thing, and you get it upcycled, you're funding her creativity, you're adding something of actual value to your house, as opposed to, you know, IKEA. This, like, I hate IKEA. I hate the concept of IKEA. This idea of like disposable furniture, I hate that. I'd sooner buy something second hand, cheap, and give it to your mum or someone similar to upcycle and to make.
She can even pick up stuff that wouldn't necessarily need it in the likes of a charity shop, or I don't know where you or vintage shops, whatever you call them. So you'd probably even pick up stuff that's not just funding these kind of massive corporations that just churn out shitty pieces of furniture. Like, I know it makes sense for some people, maybe rented housing, that sort of stuff. But if you're living in a place, if you own your place or whatever, why not kind of just get that little bit more authentic kind of stuff, or something with a story behind it as well. But like she she teaches classes to kids, like, and actually, like, she did it during the summer there. So she just kind of thought about it and said, like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe make an extra bit of money out of it too. And just kind of going through these different bits and pieces that you can do to kids, like kind of a summer camp kind of thing as well. But it went really well, and kind of gets kids kind of doing, again, so like even go back to Patter's little one doing jiu-jitsu, it's just getting them off the likes of fucking the TV, tablets, etc., all that sort of stuff. So it's just getting them out and about and doing something. Because I think we're actually chatting about it here. Like, I live with a couple other heads here in the house, and we're talking about it the other day, just the difference maybe between like kids 20, 30 years ago and now, and just with the actual devices, and maybe if they're losing kind of, I suppose, something in regards to the social scene that they be in now, and video games and all that sort of stuff. It's an interesting topic, like, but
very fascinating.
Yeah, even just what I was saying was like, I saw a picture of a group of kids in 2010 and a group of kids in the 80s or something like that in a park on a bench. And 2010, they're all like heads and tablets on phones and stuff like that, whereas the 80s, they're playing around, they've got a football, a book or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just a massive contrast compared to it. But again, I think you were telling me yourself, or it might have been on one of the episodes, I don't know, but about, I kind of see the same thing myself, but with kind of little cousins and stuff like that, like on tablets, 4 or 5 years of age, picking up a tablet or a phone and immediately being able to navigate it, whereas you give it to somebody who's 50, 60 years on the planet wouldn't have a fucking clue what they're looking at. You know, it's
absolutely.
mad. But yeah, I definitely think there is need to kind of get kids away from that and kind of just out and about and doing stuff.
No, very much so, getting them off the lead.
Yeah, exactly. No, you said
it. But no, I think you're right, and I think it came up with myself and Beef actually. We mentioned that one of the worst things about it is of the devices with kids is they never have any kind of downtime or alone time.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? Like, let's say if your parents give out to you when you were a kid and said, you know, go to your room or whatever, you went up to your room and you sulked.
Yeah.
I don't think kids sulk anymore.
No.
And that's not to be taken lightly. That's an
true,
important developmental
massively,
stage.
yeah,
you know?
of course.
But
now, yeah, you're just delighted to be up in your room, kind of, because you've got your PlayStation, your Xbox, your tablet, and you can just work away on it. Yeah, it's an interesting one, definitely.
It came up with Beef again on the kids thing, on the kids element, that not only are kids missing out on that, but they've never had it. So we had it we don't have it now, let's say, the downtime, because adults even have our devices, you know.
Of course, yeah.
If you had to go to the toilet now, say, as soon as the door's closed, I'll pick up my phone and I'm on my phone. So
yeah,
I don't have. Adults are missing out on that, but at least with adults, we have it to miss.
Yeah.
But kids growing up now never had it in the fucking first place.
Yeah.
And who knows what the repercussions of that be? We mightn't see it for another 20 years or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's strange times.
Definitely.
And especially if they're listening to fucking "I Love You, Baby, Baby." Do you know that kind of way? If they're listening to the charts and they're watching, you know, the kind of popular stuff that's on television.
Yeah.
At least we're of an age where we can kind of pick and choose
massively
the media that we consume.
Like, I don't really watch TV, like, on mainstream TV anymore. I think that's just massively changed. So the likes of Netflix and that sort of stuff. Podcasts, you can just pick and choose. YouTube as well, another one that people would dip in and out of, and different stuff that they can get as well. Whereas, yeah, I wouldn't have any time for most of the stuff that's on mainstream TV. Like, I'd watch a lot of maybe live sport, that kind of stuff more so, and that's like on the TV behind you there. That's all I would be kind of really going for. Apart from the odd one that we'd watch as a house, like you'd watch the odd kind of game show. We watch Pointless, great game, or a great TV show like that. That's the one thing that I would nearly watch on TV. We've got about 600 episodes recorded, and it's a bit of crack, but other than that, it's live sporting events, and I'd take my other stuff would be like the likes of Netflix, I suppose, the odd series or documentary on that as well. So
yeah,
but that's it, and that's changed hugely. Like, and I think, is it the creator of Netflix, or I'm not sure of his name now, but I think he's said, I don't know if this is exact, but he said in maybe 50, I don't know if it was 2050 or in 50 years time or something like that, TV as it is right now will be completely gone. He reckons it's just going to be completely gone, and the whole way we view stuff will be more like that, and the way it is, there's avenues there now at the minute. So he just thinks that the whole TV platform, the way that's operating, just won't be in operation at all.
But it's madness when you think of it. Like Oisin made a great point there when I had him on. He was saying that when he was a kid, he remembers sitting down to watch, let's say there'd be a program on that he wanted to watch at 7, and he'd turn on the telly at 5.
Right.
And whatever happened to be on for the next 2 hours,
you were watching.
Right you are, like. For good or for bad, like. But I think we kind of miss. There's an element of something being on at like Wednesday at 6 o'clock that we do miss. Yeah, do you know that kind of way?
Like
we
Friends
have it with
or
live
something
sports.
that like our Friends was another one that was a really popular show that you'd come home to watch on a particular night or whatever, and you'd look forward to it, I guess, to a certain degree.
And you'd nearly look forward to the next morning in school.
Yeah, because you'd be chatting about it because. Yeah, you definitely lose that because most people, well, not me, most people, but binge watching is a huge thing. So you're just like, we'll say that Stranger Things is a popular one right now, and it's just like, boom, it's there. The whole lot was there, and you've watched that entire season. Whereas you would just kind of come in the next day and have a chat about the episode the night before. Whereas somebody might be like, I haven't seen that episode. That's like episode 6. I'm only on 2 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely because you'd be straight in having a chat about the next day in school or whatever. Up at the bin or whatever when you're going to pare your pencil or something. When you didn't need to pare it, just have a chat.
Smoking at lunchtime or something.
Yeah. But no.
Speaking of series, I'm planning on doing a series with this.
Really?
With the podcast.
What have you got in mind? What's the thought?
Well, I come up with the idea that I came up with, say, was to do a 10-part series on, I don't know, call it something like things you should know, say, for example.
Yeah.
There's probably 1,000
know.
podcasts called that already, but this won't be the name of a podcast as such, but it would be a series, so it would be a block of interviews or conversations with, let's say, a leading scientist in a particular field.
Yeah.
So, gut microbiology is something that I'm fascinated by, and I think everyone would be if you could just hear somebody who knew what they were talking about explain it to people.
Yeah.
Because little things, do you know anything about it at all? Or
which
gut microbiology?
A little bit, yeah. I suppose I've heard the odd bit on kind of podcasts and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, kind of here and there.
Yeah, no, not obviously a massive amount of knowledge about it, I guess.
But it's just so fascinating. Like, the non-human cells in our body outnumber us 10 to 1.
No way.
Like, stuff like that is just crazy. They all live, as we call it, inside us, but they're actually not inside us. So if you picture a beach ball, and you've got a pipe running through the beach ball, so you've got a kind of a hole either end of the beach ball. If you drop a penny through that pipe, it'll fall through the beach ball, but it's never in the beach ball. And your body is like that with your mouth and your anus. You've got this big pipe and stomach and everything else, and anything that's in that isn't in you.
That's mad.
No more than it's in the pipe going through the beach ball. So I'd love to sit down for 2 hours and have a chat with someone explaining that to me. And that will be one episode. So pick 10 different topics. So that was the original idea. But our mutual friend Dave Webster, who has to come on the podcast too, he came up with a great one. Do you know what an expert witness is?
Like for a court?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say if the state takes a case against you for murdering someone, and you say that, you know, you were doing this, so that means you couldn't have done the murder. Whatever this is, the state can get a expert witness in. So somebody who's the top of their field in that, and who will come into court and say, well, that guy's full of shit because X, Y, and Z. So if you could do a series and call it expert witness, and 1 week have the state pathologist on, another week have a ballistic expert on,
deadly,
and they can talk about, you know, not specific trials they've worked on in the past, because presumably there's kind of legal reasons why they can't speak of them, but I'm sure they can talk kind of broadly about them.
I imagine so, or the experience behind it. That's an interesting way of doing it. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Speaking of expert witnesses, where do you watch? It's kind of a shite state of affairs now, and I nearly know more about the US kind of government and what's going on in politics than I do in my own country. But there's a chap called John Oliver. Have you heard of him at all?
No, not at all.
He's an English guy, actually, so I think he's from London or something. You'd probably know his face, I'd say, if you've seen him. He's been around a long time. But I think he's living over in America, and he's got a chat show. It's called Last Week Tonight. It's brilliant. I'd highly recommend getting a look at it. Now, it is solely kind of American-based kind of stuff. And Trump, as you can imagine, is a constant one that comes up. But when you mentioned the expert witness there, it just reminded me of one of the episodes I watched recently. That's mad, it's crazy shit. So it's about, we'll say, the expert witnesses that come on to basically decide a case off the back of DNA bite. Like, you know, if you take if somebody has taken a bite of something, this bite analogy or technology or whatever,
like a bite fingerprint, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So that type of kind of evidence that would be used to put someone away for life or for jail for whatever the crime is. So there's a few different ones, and there was a term that kind of came up. It's like not quite beyond a reasonable doubt, to a reasonable level of conclusive. I don't know. I can't remember the exact terminology of it, but this is what scientists were saying. So it wasn't an exact science exactly, but there's been loads and loads of cases that have been overturned. Lads imprisoned for 25 years for murder based off DNA evidence.
But new technology has kind of
come on, and
like the drug testing
massively. Yeah, but like one was like hair samples or something like that. They re-examined a case. The chap had been, I don't know if it was murder or rape or something, but he was in prison for a number of years. And they re-examined the hair samples that were used to put him away, and one of them was a dog hair, and the other one was fucking female or something like that.
Yeah,
absolute madness. And another one was like bite analysis or whatever it is as well. There's been cases overturned off the back of that now, and one of the leading guys in it no longer advocates it. So he's just said, yeah, so a lot of the stuff I said there 5 years ago, that's bullshit, and it's just been retracted. But look, lives ruined off the back of it. And I can't quite remember, it's like not beyond a reasonable doubt, but that term, it just, he ran, John Oliver played about 15 snippets of expert witnesses saying this, so to a reasonable level of
certainty.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what it is. This would have been the case, and it's just throwing fucking things way open. So it's mad. I don't know. Like, I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of people kind of looking into cases again, but crazy. Couldn't believe it. But he's really good. I'd highly recommend it if anyone.
John Oliver. What's
John
the show?
Oliver? It's called Last Week Tonight.
Right.
So like he'll generally have one topic that he'll talk about. So it's a big like recently enough. One of the big credit companies, so people that hold information, America's information, so to get good credit, we'll say if you're going for a loan or buying a house or whatever.
Rating.
So the biggest company in America had lost an absolutely astonishing amount of information, like really important information. This only lasts maybe, I think it kind of happened over the last 6 months maybe or so. But the likes of social security numbers, all that kind of shit, like really, really important kind of information was hacked and leaked. So people could be buying houses in your name, kind of credit card information.
Identity theft, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So, and he was just kind of saying what you needed to do and the ins and outs of it. But yeah, he'll have a story like that, and he'll go to town on that, and then a few different bits and pieces here and there. But really good, really interesting stuff. And like I said, Trump heavily based in it as well. He has a big red button where he's been caught in a lie, essentially. So he constantly, like recently, I think there was some vote that needed to be passed, or some motion that needed to be passed by a vote, and they had to have all the sitting members of government to do so. And it was, I can't quite remember what the bill was or the motion was, but it was a fairly important one. And Trump, I don't think, had agreed with it. So basically, he had said that one of the guys in government was in hospital and he wasn't able to attend, so they had to postpone the vote. And then your man came out on Twitter and said, no, not hospitalised, just had a bit of a cold or whatever. Like, and he goes, we got him again, we got him. And he pressed the big red button and there's streamers and shit. Like, and he goes, no, sorry, he's still president, Well, he's been caught in all these different lies. Like, but it's good. It's interesting. It's funny. He's a funny bastard for starters, but it's just real good content as well, like good stuff.
But again, the beauty of the internet is you can have an American show and you can watch it over here, and I can go back and check out old episodes and whatever else, and there's probably 20 odd hours of what you're talking about waiting for me basically online.
Exactly, like. Yeah. No, he's really cool, really interesting stuff. I discovered him there a while back. Well, it's been ongoing for a good few years now, I think.
You mentioned YouTube earlier. how well do you think you utilize YouTube? Do you subscribe to people?
No, not at all actually. So I dip in and out of stuff here and there, or kind of get links from other people to watch stuff on it, and share links to other people, I guess. Different music, different kind of clips of stuff. But no, wouldn't really subscribe to people on it.
Yeah, I've only been getting into it in the last year or so. A cousin of mine, Des Prasad, who I'd love to get on as well.
Oh yeah,
he's big into YouTube. I suppose he's a bit younger than us. He's probably maybe 5 or 6 years younger, so maybe he's part of that millennial group. Of course. But he has his own channel as well. He cuts snippets out of South Park episodes. I think it's called Cut the Bull. If anyone's interested, stick that into YouTube. And his videos tend to be 2 or 10 seconds long.
Yeah,
just the
little snippets here and there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And does he edit himself? Does he have like a voiceover or something like that?
No. It's
part of the actual episode itself.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason he can do it and get away with it, because he's getting like the numbers are colossal. He's getting like millions of views. And
serious?
Yeah. He told me I'm paraphrasing this now. I'm not going to get it right, but you'll get the sentiment. When he went into the kind of diagnostics, because he has, I think, a kind of a YouTube creators account, not just a regular account.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when you've got that kind of account, you can go in and kind of see how many people have listened to your or watched your show or whatever it is that you've up there, and you can get the countries they're coming from, the time of day, the sex of the person,
the analysis of the
pretty
the whole
much
thing, yeah.
But he was telling me, he gave me the figure for, if you put them end to end all the time people have listened to him. Now, bearing in mind that they're 2 or 3 seconds long, I think he has something like 6 months.
Yowzer.
24 hours a day, 6 months. That's how much people have actually listened to his stuff. And again, they're few second clicks, like.
Yeah.
But because there's like 1 billion people on YouTube, so it's
mad.
It's insane.
It builds up and builds up.
So this podcast will be on YouTube as of next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Oh, way.
This one will be, yeah. This one will be live now, come fucking this evening.
No, I didn't realise you were bringing it on to YouTube.
I'm going to put it on all the platforms.
Class.
It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on iTunes. It's already on Stitcher and SoundCloud. If anybody is listening to this on SoundCloud, I would advise to try Stitcher. I find it much better. It'll play from where you left off. You can rewind 30 seconds if necessary. It's just for me, it's a more pleasurable listening experience.
Yeah, definitely agree on that one.
But I do intend to video record these as well.
All right, yeah.
Maybe not on the road like this one, but definitely the ones
in-house.
Back at home.
Yeah,
in-house. Definitely,
that's cool, yeah.
Definitely record those.
And are you going to try and get a subscription kind of thing going for YouTube then as well? Is that something that you can...
Yeah, well, you'll be able to subscribe, absolutely. It's
okay.
a click of a button. It doesn't cost you anything. The only thing... For those, again, who don't know, if you're on YouTube and you subscribe to someone, that just means that in your subscriptions folder, anything that I put up new will be there. So, like, I go onto YouTube every day, every evening. I usually go on to see if the people that I've subscribed to have put something up.
It's not a monetary thing, is it?
No, you don't pay for anything on YouTube. YouTube is entirely free.
I thought there was to the subscription side of thing. I thought that was
no, God, no. You hit
like I thought it was maybe a minimum amount, like just to subscribe once for like $1.99 or
no,
something.
not at all. There isn't a red cent involved.
Jeez, I didn't know that. I always kind of and that I wouldn't have put me off subscribing because I think you would pay maybe for something that you really were interested in. Yeah, maybe like a euro or two or whatever. But all right, that's interesting.
No, I don't think. Even if you wanted to charge people to listen to your YouTube channel, I don't think that exists.
Well, they have started bringing in charge for movies, I think. That's a new enough thing.
Okay, right. Well, that might be that's
different story.
Different,
yeah, of course. But I only just copped that recently enough, so like what are we trying? We're trying to watch some movie and it wasn't on Netflix, or I use a couple of different apps, we'll say, to get movies on through a Chromecast or whatever.
Yeah.
And just the movie that we were looking to watch just didn't happen to be on any of those platforms. So it's like, oh, sure, we'll check it out on YouTube. Sure enough, there it was, but you had to pay like $2.99 or something for it. But who would you subscribe to, we'll say, on YouTube for the most part?
Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris. There's a crowd called Numberphile that I've started to follow recently. They do between 5 and 10 minute videos, and they'll pick something. Like I'm a big nerd, so and I love numbers. Not so much that I love numbers, because I've only gotten into Numberphile recently, but it's
what's the content on that? Like,
it's kind of like it can be anything, but it's always kind of math related. But like, here's a cool one. There's a number called Graham's number.
Right.
Did you ever hear of Graham's number? I hadn't heard of it myself. So a friend of mine sent me the link, and it's what got me into this Numberphile thing.
Okay.
But Graham's number is an astronomically enormous number. It's so big, you literally can't understand how big it is.
Right.
And just to explain that a little bit more, the reason I say you literally can't understand it, nor can I.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to be able to understand it, your brain would have to be so big that it would collapse in under the weight of its own gravity and rip a hole through space-time and create a black hole. That's how big your brain would have to be to understand.
So we're not quite there yet.
No, not just quite there yet. But again, little things like that.
That's
and
madness,
they go into a bit of detail, and that was Graham's number. So again, for people listening, Graham's number is so big, your brain would have to be so massive that it would collapse under its own weight and form a black hole. So you literally can't understand how big it is.
Yeah.
But then there's another number.
Don't try.
Don't try. Just you'll kill us all. There's another number then called 3, and it makes Graham's number just completely insignificant, as if it doesn't exist.
What?
And the analogy they gave was, if you divided up Graham's number, if you gave everybody on the planet, so what was there, 7 billion people?
Yeah.
If you gave them all a bit of 3 to try and wrap their head around it, each one of those persons' brains would have to be so big that it collapsed under the weight of itself and formed a black hole. So just little kind of really nerdy
that's
things like that. Like, it is. It's very interesting. And there's loads of really great channels. If you happen to have an interest in fucking horse riding or electronics or tech, or stick whatever it is, stick a couple of keywords into YouTube and spend a bit of time
deciphering through the links or whatever are there.
Like there's a lot of shit on YouTube, but of course in there's stuff that's really worth finding. And if you find a video that's hits your buttons for whatever reason, hit that subscribe button, and then they're always there. Do you know? You have them on hand,
feed them through to you.
But again, I've only kind of gotten into it really in the last 6 months, I suppose, and more now that I'm setting up the Off the Lead channel as such. So it's been great, but I'd highly recommend.
I will. Like honestly, like I said, I didn't think. I thought there was some sort of monetary attachment to it with the subscription.
You'll hear about, and it's a big thing in the news now, I suppose, how certain YouTubers have had either all their content or certain videos that they've uploaded demonetized.
Right.
And what that is YouTube aren't paying them. So people get paid to put stuff up on YouTube, but not by the people watching.
The public itself.
So YouTube, I don't know what the kind of metrics are, but let's say YouTube will give you €1,000 for every million views.
Sure, they're obviously making money off it then as well with the advertisements.
Of course they are, 100-fold. But actually, I say 100-fold. I don't know if YouTube's profitable.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know if it is. It's one of those things. It obviously serves a purpose.
Of course, yeah.
Google own it, and they're not running it at a loss because they love losing money. Do you know that kind of way? But
probably breaking even.
They probably, yeah. But over 1 billion people, I think, are watching it kind of regularly, and you can cast it. So if you've got a Chromecast and there's something that you like, and it could be 5 minutes long, it could be an hour long, throw it up on the telly. Like.
Yeah, it's really. I love that. The whole Chromecast thing is brilliant. It's a great little way of kind of operating. I love it now. So the 2 TVs, I've one upstairs, one here, and just bang that little button on. There you go. I could do it to really fuck with people as well in the house, which is something I haven't quite done yet. But like if I'm upstairs or in a different room, when I hit the Chromecast button, it obviously registered it to the devices that are available to do it on. So if they're watching like a movie or a football match, I could just cast like something right in the midst.
The penalty shootout at the end of a fucking game or something. Yeah,
it's like that. Well, it's kind of a long kind of science stuff. But remember those watches that you could get? That you could change the fucking channel
on the telly,
on the TV,
the remote,
And like you've heard stories of lads fucking doing it in the pub in the middle of a football match and sticking on
the race
Greatest
or
British Bake Off or something instead of it. It's cool, but no, it's great. I love it now. I had it for a while. I actually got it free as a gift from work. Like they give you a free Christmas gift every Christmas and a list of shit that you can pick from, and pick that. And I've been completely got a massive amount of usage out of it now. They're really, really cool. But yeah, YouTube, like even the likes of Stitcher, I think, SoundCloud as well, they would be cast as well.
Yeah.
So I assume it's going. A lot of the platforms will kind of look to try and get that in place. It's not everywhere, like, so there is some that won't simply cast, just don't have the option. Like,
I think they're not there yet.
Yeah,
like it is relatively new.
Yeah, of course.
And again, for people that are listening, a Chromecast, it's a product that is made by Google. Essentially, you stick it into the back of your TV. You need a USB connection.
Or HDMI port maybe as well.
Do you need a HDMI port?
Well, the one that I have is HDMI.
Maybe it's a HDMI port you need.
Yeah.
But basically what happens is you stick this into the back of your telly, and then on your phone, let's say if you're on YouTube, there's a little, what's called a cast box. You hit the cast box, and whatever you're watching on your phone will be beamed wirelessly to your TV set.
Brilliant.
Which
really
is cool.
Because I suppose you used to, like, even before I had that, I guess I would have hooked, if I wanted to watch something, we'll say full screen, you would hook the laptop up with a
HDMI kit. Messing.
Yeah, it's just and really annoying. You can't control it, I think, was the most annoying thing about it, because if you were lying in your bed or on the couch or whatever, you'd have to get up and go to the laptop and change it or whatever, whereas you just have your phone now and you're full access to the whole lot. It's brilliant. Netflix, I suppose, another one that would be castable too, so really handy, really cool.
Yeah, I actually found myself, I was in the shower and opened the sliding door of the shower, and I was like, fuck, I've no towel. And usually, you'd walk around down the hall with the hot press and get your towel, but rooted a friend of ours over, or a couple of friends, and I was like, fuck. And I was kind of looking around, there was nothing that I could use, because I was only in from a run, so I didn't even have like a clean-ish t-shirt to dry myself out, and I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? And then I copped the
What did you do?
Well, I tell you what I should have done, which I didn't. I can't remember why I didn't. I found something to fucking dry myself up. But what I should have done and what I wanted to do was, I knew that she was in the sitting room and the telly was on and Fionn was there watching whatever program that was being cast onto the telly. So I got the little eureka moment, and I was like, oh, I could record myself on my phone. So take out my phone and take a little video of myself. Saying, well, babe, you want to do us a favour and go grab a towel. I'm fucking freezing me balls off down here. Upload it to YouTube and then cast it to the telly. So she'd be sitting there sipping her tea with her friends, fucking chatting. The next minute I come up on the telly, like.
You probably would have dripped right by that stage.
Probably, yeah.
Actually, recording another one, forget about that. Don't worry, just make me a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say there? That was actually, no, I lost what I was going to say. It was something along the lines of the YouTuber, the casting, but it's gone.
It's gone. Fart in the wind.
Aye.
But I don't think we utilise the technologies that we have around us to.
That's what it was. Straight away, I came back. That so rarely happens. But I don't have it myself now. But FaceTime, we'll say on iPhones or whatever.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
I've seen some chap, like, he was sitting in the sitting room and he was making dinner, and he had pasta in the pot, we'll say, on the ring, and whatever way he hooked it up, he'd FaceTime like a tablet to his phone. So he's sitting there watching a football match, and he had the pot boiling on the ring in the other room, so he could kind of keep an eye on it so it wouldn't boil over. Like, brilliant. Yeah, quality.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like.
Little life hacks like that. Actually, life hacks are class. Do you follow them on Twitter, or I think it's either Instagram or Twitter? I think it's Twitter. But little life hacks, loads of little cool stuff like that.
Do you want any more coming to mind?
I'm trying to think.
I know I'm the same.
Yeah, I know. I can't quite think of any. Oh no, I have one little one. It's not great because it's not going to be something you're going to be doing that regular, I guess. But eating spaghetti, spaghetti or noodles, we'll say it's quite annoying when you have to. It's not really annoying, but like
first world problem.
But you have to twist it up and just to get it all into your mouth or whatever. But I seen this chap just like with chopsticks, we'll say, and he had a big long kind of length of spaghetti or noodles. He just had scissors and he just chopped it off and then stuck the bite into his mouth. Brilliant. Nice. Really handy. Just kind of like the big long length of it, and then just 3/4 of it or whatever, just chopped it off. Rest of it went back into the bowl and just had his nice easy mouthful.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't think, honestly. There's some great ones that I've come across, but there's nothing quite springing to mind right now. But you get them on, I'm sure YouTube will probably have a page and that sort of stuff as well. Exactly.
There's bound to be one.
Some deadly ones though.
I'm the same. I'm drawing a complete blank, and again, I know fucking half a dozen different ones.
Yeah.
It's always the way. But Gaz, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've done just shy of 2 hours. And thanks again for letting me come to you for a change. Fingers fucking crossed the audio is okay, because hopefully where I record it in Kilberry, it's in the tunnel, and it's just I got kind of fluky with it. There's a lot of curved, soft walls, which is kind of ideal for sound. So
yeah, the acoustics are good. I don't know how good or bad this will be.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll suss it out. And thanks for giving me the name. What was it again? Off the Lead and on the Road.
On the Road, yeah, I love it. No, best of luck with it, lad, and thanks a million for having us on.
Thank you, sir.